Hello again, everyone, and thanks for tuning in to your weekly sports report. I'm your host, the Phenom, Anis Malham, and as always, I'm with my co-host,
Sunny Big Man Deal.
and this week we have a special guest,
Jasper Jussa Assange.
Jussa Desange,
AKA Jado.
aka Jado, is in the house.
What's up, boys?
Welcome, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
And welcome to the World Cup segment. And boy, did we have a great couple of games that we wanted to recap here. We'll start off with the one that just happened today.
The England Maple Leafs.
England goes down 2-1 to Croatia, setting up the second half of the final between now France and Croatia. But let's talk about the England game. Trippier gets England's 9th goal on a set piece out of the 12 that they've scored in the whole tournament. And it was a beauty. And it was right away. I think it was in the 6th minute that they scored it.
Yeah.
Absolutely beautiful shot, picked the top corner. They had no chance whatsoever of stopping it. And then England really attacked. They pressed, I think, for the rest of the first half. And then things started to teeter the other way come the second half. And I think it was about the 68th minute. The Croatians scored, and then in extra time for the third game in a row. Croatia requires extra time, but slips out with a win. You know what, Jasper, you're the new guy on the show. Why don't you break it down for us? Tell us a little bit about your thoughts on the game.
I thought England, they played well the first half. They had a lot of chances. They could have scored a couple. Harry Kane had a chance, more than one. They just couldn't find the back of the net. When they had that 1-0 lead, that first goal was beautiful.
It was, yeah.
You don't see goals like that very often,
Yeah.
but that one was beautiful. And like I said, this tournament's been for England all about set pieces. All their goals come from the set piece.
Plus, England was the third youngest team in the tournament. It was a good tournament for them still. Like, this wasn't the England where it's aged and old, where they had to feel like they didn't go in here thinking they had to win the World Cup.
No, I agree.
I think they did better than they thought they would have, right?
Much better.
So it was a good tournament for them, and they could have won today too. He's right. If Harry Kane buried a few chances, it could have been different. Guy had a great tournament. The team had a great tournament. Croatia's just a good team, though.
They're a
Croatia
veteran
is.
team, man.
People just don't know them as much, right?
Yeah.
But they're in their golden generation of soccer, and they're all vets. This is a team that it's not that surprising. You know what I mean? Like, if somebody said at the start of the tournament, oh, Croatia would have made the final, I would have been, that's believable. They're a good
Absolutely,
team.
yeah, it was. Especially after the 3-0 drubbing of Argentina, you felt that this Croatia team really had it in them to make it really deep in this tournament. Not only that, I mean, they've got a ton of great players. Led by Luka Modric and then Mandzukic and Rebic
Rakitic.
and
That
Rakitic.
midfield it's deadly.
It is
That's
deadly.
what
Yeah.
soccer's about,
Yeah,
right?
that midfield, the transition game from one side to the other, they have. They get the ball to Modric, Mario.
Luka Modric.
No,
Mario
Mandzukic.
They get him where he
Yeah,
needs
yeah.
it, right?
And
He
that's
had-
what you need.
he
Any
had-
striker in the world would do well if he has the midfielders.
Look
to get
at
him
how many
the ball,
chances
right?
he had, man. In the second half and on, he could have scored 2 to 3 goals easily.
Yeah.
Right? And he got one out, and he got one in.
He did.
He scored. You give him chances from guys like Rakitic and Modric. That midfield's unreal.
Yeah, it's elite midfield.
They're world-class,
It's
man.
world-class
Yeah.
midfield, and that's what you need to be successful.
So in the 68th minute, Perisic sort of like karate kicks that thing as they sailed across in, and I mean, Pickford has played great the whole tournament, but I don't think he had much of a chance on that one. I think it shocked him. I think it really surprised him at that one that went in, especially with such a weird angle. Some of the English players thought he might have kicked one of the defenders, studs up, and then that just would have been a foul.
And you notice right after that goal, England started to play hesitant.
Yeah.
They weren't the same team. They weren't attacking as much. They were more on the defense. Then Croatia started to get more chances, more openings in the defense. And I think that's where England's youth showed.
Yeah.
And I think they'll learn from that.
I agree.
They'll learn from that, and they'll be ready for Euro.
Yeah, I think.
And this team is very young. They have Lingard, Rashford, what's his name?
Dele Alli.
Dele Alli.
Yeah.
Even
Harry Kane's only 24.
Yeah. Harry Kane's
Stone's
still
pretty
young.
young. Pickford,
Yeah.
I believe, is young.
Yeah.
Like this team, other than Henderson, who's
Even
in the-
Maguire is young. Yeah, Jordan Henderson, I think,
Is
the
the only
Wolves guy,
veteran, I
33
think.
years
Yeah.
old.
See,
Pickford is young.
I agree
Yeah.
with you. Off this tournament, I would say going into Euro, they're probably going to be one of the favorites this time. Because it's a big growing thing, and they proved that they could do it. See, like you said, they kind of backed off a bit. it wasn't the old England. Old England would back off too, but for different reasons. This time it was just because they were younger.
Experience.
While I share your guys' enthusiasm for England going forward, I actually don't think they're going to be one of the dominant favorites going forward. I think with Italy and Holland not making this World Cup at all, they're going to look back at their program, see where they messed up, and they're going to get another generation.
But it's going to take them more than 2 years.
Yeah,
it's going to take them a couple of years, maybe for the next World Cup, or maybe for the Euro in 6 years.
The Euro after that.
But it's going to take time. But I believe Italy should make the next. They have enough talent.
Oh, yeah,
They're
yeah,
going to
yeah.
have to do what England's doing now
Yeah.
in the Euro. They're going to have to start because they didn't. That's the. I mean,
In
I'm an
2008,
Italy fan.
when they didn't make the Euro, then I believe
Yeah.
they
Yeah.
started changing the way the game was.
And they didn't play well in 2010 or 14 either for Italy. So,
Yeah.
like, what I'm saying is,
because Italy did what essentially England was doing. They were just picking their older guys. They weren't letting the youth play. Now they're going to have to start.
Speaking of these two teams, I think that's what they need to do. Netherlands and Italy.
I agree totally.
Revamp that system. Get some good players in your leagues. Italy's got a good league,
Yeah.
but it's not as good as it used to be.
right?
Oh no,
Right? It's
Right.
out of the major leagues, it's probably the fourth best.
Yeah.
That's
Right.
why I was shocked that Ronaldo went there. To be honest.
No. We'll talk. We'll get to that later.
Yeah.
There's a reason he did it, and we'll talk about that a little bit more. I just did want to get back a little bit more into this game. Now, Mandzukic, just to bring it back, Mandzukic scores the second goal in the 109th minute in extra time. You really felt the wind really go out of England's sails at that point. And I mean, I know they really tried pushing, they really tried pressing after, and they had a great chance near the end of the game to on the set piece there on the free kick to score, but no
Off Harry
such
Kane's
luck.
head.
Off Harry Kane's head, and it went wide. But that second goal was a thing of beauty. It really was. Like that, they headed it forward, and just the way that Mandzukic was able to spin and get away from his defender, get out into open space and tuck it in the corner. I mean, that was just a great shot. That was a veteran move. That was a guy who knew that where the ball was going, and he knew that his
That's kind of where the age showed.
Yeah.
It was a veteran move. He felt the play and he made the move.
yeah.
And he had a couple of chances a lot earlier to do it as well.
Yeah,
He just
because
couldn't.
that like you said, that midfield.
He
they're gonna put him
had
in
chances
position.
all game. He was all over the place.
One thing I'll say about this now, because sometimes the third place games aren't that great because one team, they're older, they don't really give a shit about the bronze.
Yeah.
Both Belgium and England are going to try for bronze. They're going
I
to try
think so.
very
Yeah.
hard.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. But Mandzukic did get subbed out late as he had cramps. Does this affect him in going into the final?
No, they
No,
have a bunch.
they have a bunch. The medical staff these days, man.
Yeah.
They'll get him what he needs.
He's
He'll
probably
be fine.
hydrated. and
Yeah,
fine
they'll get the
already.
IV going or whatever else that they need, and
Probably on
they're in
top-
Russia, so they can get everything they
probably
want.
on-
We'll just leave it at that.
Probably on top of a hooker as we speak.
Let's switch to the other side. A classic matchup ends in 1-0 for France over Belgium. This was Belgium's golden opportunity for their golden generation, and it felt like it got squandered. Now, to what degree? And let's break down the game first, and then I want to ask to what degree did tactics or coaching have to do with this? Because Mark Wilmots was much maligned maybe 8-9 years ago. And then now we're talking about, or 4 years ago really, and now we're talking about Martinez. Roberto Martinez getting skewered early in just sort of the reaction after the game for some of his tactics in the game. What did Belgium miss? I mean, Eden Hazard played an amazing game, but Lukaku was really, I guess, a little bit invisible maybe. De Bruyne didn't have his best game, and the French defenders they played amazing.
They had chances in the first half. If it wasn't for Hugo Lloris, they had their chance. They had quite a bit of chances.
Yeah.
Maybe not from Lukaku or De Bruyne.
No, but as a team.
But as a team, they
Yeah.
had their chances to go up 1-0, 2-0,
Yeah.
right? So
Yeah.
you can't say... I understand the offense wasn't flowing as it was the whole tournament.
Yeah.
But they
But it's
had...
also a lot better team they're playing.
Yes,
against, right?
the French are one of the
They're
favorites.
one of the favorites, yeah.
But
They
I
were.
agree. I think Belgium actually played the more positive game. They were attacking. France kind of congested and just played a defensive game. They kind of just held on to it, right? They played that choking style.
That was on purpose.
It was
That's the style they wanted to play.
It
That's
was on purpose.
yeah. They actually played a classic Italian style game
yeah.
that Didier Deschamps. It was a master class in Italian football.
Yeah.
What they did was they let 64% of the possession
Possession, yeah.
was with Belgium.
Yeah.
And the shots were 11 shots were directed at the French goal. I think 4 or 3 were on target. And then, but here's the flip side of things, okay? 19 shots were directed at Courtois, and 5 were on target. So the French counterattack was just firing. It was going.
And the thing is, Belgium plays with 3 defenders.
Right.
So
you
the
can counter them.
Yeah, so the counterattack is like, you got Mbappe,
Yeah.
who's
Right.
quick as hell.
Yeah.
So you get him out there and you give him the ball and let him do his thing.
It's almost impossible to stop.
You
him
got to
with
hold.
a
The thing is,
counter.
I felt he at times, sometimes, I think he really took advantage of Company in the middle.
With the
I agree.
speed.
Yeah, Company
Yeah.
couldn't keep up with him.
Couldn't, man.
And
I
he took
agree.
advantage of that time. I think it put more pressure on the guys on the outsides with them.
'Cause that's part of what we're talking about. Their attack. They play that wing back style
Yeah.
where those defenders
Yeah.
they attack. But part of that because the speed and the fact that Company and Vertonghen couldn't keep up with the speed, that required them to be more defensive.
So this is where I
that kind
wanted-
of hurt Belgium's attack a little bit.
And this is where I wanted to talk about Martinez.
Maybe
because,
change the formula.
well, the thing is, both Vilmots and Martinez played with a 3-5-3 or a 3-4-3. But the National Academy in Belgium has been teaching these kids since they were very young a 4-3-3 system. You know what I mean? They go through a 4-3-3 system their entire lives, and this is how Belgium plays football. And now they're playing. I mean, I understand they're pros. They go to their club teams, and they're playing all kinds of styles. So I mean, these guys are pros. They should know how to execute regardless. But as a national club, they always play a 4-3-3, and now they change it up. They end up losing to a team based on a counterattack where they know they're going to use the speed to overtake the older defenders on Belgium. And this is why I said, did Belgium just waste its golden generation? Their coming out party was supposed to be 2012. Euro 2012. They lost in World Cup 14.
Yeah.
They lost in 16 in the Euro. And now in 18, they're in the 3rd place match. I think this might be the farthest that they're going to make it in any one of these tournaments. And they won nothing. They have nothing to show for their golden generation.
Hazard.
Hazard, I think, is 28 or 29.
Yeah.
So hip De Bruyne. The thing is, they might lose some defenders that are older, the Company and
Yeah.
I can't remember.
Vertonghen.
Yeah, I can't even pronounce his name.
yeah.
But the thing is, like Thibaut Courtois is pretty young
They're
still.
not that old either.
No, they have a World Cup left in them. They definitely have a Euro left in
They have
them.
a
Yeah.
Euro for sure.
Yeah.
But the thing is, Belgium's also producing a lot of younger talent that's coming up as well.
Right.
They have some players coming up.
Let's not forget Spain. Spain started doing it when those guys got a little older too.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
And
a
then
little
the
bit more
youth
veteran
came in.
players.
Belgium, they do. They have some good youth coming in. They should have picked Nangolan on this team. I think that would have helped defensively a little bit.
Yeah.
So I think they still got room to make a move. I think
they'll be there in 2 years.
Yeah.
I think that in the Euro in 2
Euro
years,
will be contender. I think so.
hopefully they qualify. Like you don't want one of those things that
That's
happens
the
in
thing.
Netherlands.
You never know though, right? You
Yeah.
just never know anymore. There's always Sweden knocking out a shitload of teams.
Yeah, there's actually a
all
lot of-
those
Yeah,
type
so the thing is,
teams.
the soccer in Europe and all the countries, even Iceland, look at that. Who thought Iceland would be this good, right?
Yeah, and they actually are. They actually compete with everybody.
Yeah, so like you never know. Hopefully they qualify in 2 years,
Yeah.
and they can get it done.
They can get something for
Yeah.
to show for it, because like right now they're also calling this the Croatian golden generation, but now they've made the World Cup final. So at worst they're going to finish second, and if they actually win it all,
And
I
look
mean
at
that's a massive prize for Croatia.
Look at their core and their veterans. They're
Yeah.
in their 30s, late
They-
20s.
yeah, this
You're
is
right,
their
right?
This is their last.
The thing is,
opportunity.
did they qualify for last year's Euro 2 years ago? They must have. Did they qualify? Do we know that?
I don't remember. So I think in 2016 they got knocked out in the round of 16 by Portugal, and 2014 they didn't make it out of the group stage in the World Cup
You're
in
correct
Brazil.
about that, yeah.
So okay, so I mean, in other words, they haven't really done a lot when it comes to international performances at major tournaments, but they're seizing their opportunity now,
Exactly.
and they've gone all the way through. Just a couple of things I wanted to mention. The first one is here's some really cool stats. Croatia is the first team, or the second team rather, to ever come back after being down in the first half of a World Cup semifinal. And they came back to win 2-1 against England. The last team to come back that was down 1-0 was in 1998 semifinal. France came back against Croatia. And the other one is, and the other stat is Croatia has never lost to a European club in the World Cup except for France. So the way that it's aligning, it looks like, you can stitch that second star onto French jerseys.
That's a good point for all the gamblers out there who like get a little edge in every way. Every stat helps, right? So
Any
that's
little
good to
edge
know.
you guys want, drop it on France. I did also want to mention this too, and this goes back. At the very beginning of the World Cup, my prediction was France over Argentina in the final. Now remember, Argentina finished second in that group. If they had finished first, you could very well see Argentina being the team that's here. They would have beat Denmark. They would have beat Russia.
We
and
don't
I'm
know
pretty
that. That's a
confident
lot of
that
what
they
I
would
want
have
to
beat-
man. No, that's a lot of
They would have.
The way they played.
They would have.
So before the tournament started, I had put my own money. I bet on 365. Shout out 365. They get my money in. They get my money to me all the time, real quick. So I took England to win the World Cup.
Yeah.
And the odds I got were 17-1.
That's pretty good.
So, and I also had Belgium to win the World Cup, and I had those at 12-1. So I'm a little heartbroken that neither of them made the finals, but it is what it is.
You had picked on one of them being third. You would have won for sure.
I wouldn't sleep on Croatia, though. I'm telling you guys, man.
Yeah, they're 4-1
They're a
odds.
veteran team that's got to win one game.
Tell you the
One
truth,
game, it's
four,
not-
and the odds are 4-1. I looked online.
I'd
They're
put it
4-1,
on.
man.
I'm considering that for sure.
Or even to lift the trophies. I think to lift the trophy is. Yeah, to lift the trophy, it's 2.75, which is not bad. So that means they can win an extra time or shootout
Yeah.
as long as they pick up the trophy first.
Well, there you go for all you gamblers out there. You've had your betting minute.
I'm getting ideas.
That's just us pick of the week, baby.
So essentially, what we're looking at here are a younger team with a good mix of veterans, young guys, a lot of speed, amazing counterattack, and just depth up and down the lineup in France. Or a veteran team that just basically says never say die, with a lot of skill in Croatia. Looking into that final, I've already made my pick. I picked France to win it all at the beginning. I'm sticking with that pick.
Obviously. No, you're going to change it now?
Oh,
He's gambling, man. Maybe he would. Maybe he would. He
Maybe.
had money on it.
Just to make the show entertaining, I'm going to pick Croatia. Since I did say they'll make the finals.
yeah, you did.
As a gambling man, I'm going to go with the odds, and I'm going to take Croatia to lift the trophy.
I like that. I'll probably make the same
Yeah.
bet too.
That's what I think I want to take, but yeah. And only gamble what you can afford to lose. Don't gamble your mortgage and all that
Okay,
shit.
okay.
Gamble
okay.
responsibly.
Yes.
So, having said that, let's look into the third place match. Both teams are heartbroken, obviously. Belgium and England. I hate to say it, but I think Belgium's going to take that one, and I don't think it will be very difficult for them.
It depends. It depends if Belgium wants to actually play or if they're just coasting through it because the loss and they're upset about the loss in the semi. Because you've seen in other sports where the third place game, the team comes out.
It feels like it's meaningless.
and they just get their ass kicked.
Yeah.
But
Right.
I think Belgium wants it. Like we kind of said, the golden generation. I think they want that medal. For sure.
I agree. But I think if England can get something from this, it'll help them moving forward. They're young guys as well.
You know what's kind of awesome about this? So their group match, that was a match that everybody would have looked forward to.
That's
They're both
right.
We
trying
didn't
to
get
win.
that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
'cause they're
We didn't
both-
get that.
Now we finally get the match,
Yeah,
right?
that's-
So it'll be good. It'll be an entertaining match to watch.
Yeah, that's a good match.
Yeah, for sure. Both teams are probably going to give it a go. It's like whatever. They got a few days to get over the loss, right? So I think going into Saturday, both teams will be like, what the hell? Let's go and try to win it all.
And the odds aren't bad on that game. Belgium 2.25, the ties at 3.6, and then England 3.25. So
It's not bad at all.
Not
Either
bad.
way,
Yeah,
whatever
either way.
direction you want to go.
yeah,
I think it is kind of a toss up. I predict Belgium to take that one, but it is a toss up. But we'll see. I mean,
I like that 3-point whatever.
the England
Yeah,
or the tie's not bad either. You think it goes to extra time?
yeah, I can see that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll
3.6.
go. I think Belgium will win though.
Like I said, I had both teams to go to the finals. I'm heartbroken that neither one did make it.
Just pretend it's the finals while you're watching.
Uh,
Just don't watch the game the next day. Forget it.
I will go with my heart. I've been an England fan. I've been watching England for 20 years. My heart says England, but my head says Belgium.
yeah. No, I feel the same.
That's usually smarter.
Usually. Let's move on into some other news in the world of football. It's finally done. Ronaldo is leaving Real Madrid and is moving on to Juventus. Does this mean? I mean, we kind of talked about all the ins and outs of it last week, but what does this mean for Juve And let's start with that. I think it means Champions League title
100%.
since they've
That-
been really close the last few years.
Exactly. This isn't about the Serie A. They've won the last 7
Yeah.
Serie A's.
Yeah.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
Before the season starts, you should just give them the title.
Yeah.
And the thing is, they've lost 2 of the last 4 Champions Leagues.
Right.
Yeah.
And they got to get over that hump, and that's what they're trying to do.
Even last time they lost in the quarterfinal, but it was 2 Real
It was
Madrid.
2 Real Madrid.
Exactly,
Yeah.
yeah.
So I think that puts them in favorites right away. Like, you have to, because their team is good.
We're talking about Cristiano Ronaldo, but nobody's mentioned Emery Chan, is it?
Oh yeah, Emery Chan signed
From Liverpool,
Yeah,
on a free transfer.
Yeah.
Good
And he's
defensive
not.
midfielder.
He's a good player.
Yeah.
They have a good team in Juventus.
Yeah.
You know,
They're not making very many changes, though. I think
You
they
know what
just
sucks,
take the team
though?
that you have, add Chan, add
they might,
Ronaldo, and
I heard they
make
might
a
get
run
rid
for it.
of Higuain.
Yeah, Higuain they will want to get rid of just because he's redundant now,
Yeah.
and then you
It's a lot
send
of
him
money
out,
you
you
can
free up
sell for.
you free up
Yeah.
some money, and maybe get yourself somebody
You know what
else.
the thing is? This is when Gigi Buffon left the club. They should bring him back.
Wow.
The
Yeah, he
guy
went to
deserves-
PSG.
Yeah, he deserves his Champions League though, man.
He's never won one, huh?
No.
That's the one trophy that he hasn't
One
won.
trophy hasn't won.
That's right. It's unfortunate, but at this point, Gigi Buffon. I mean, I thought he was just going to flat out retire.
Yeah, I guess
But-
he wants one more kick at the can.
Yeah.
See, he went to PSG where he thought he's going to be with Neymar and Mbappe, and maybe he's going to do it there. But now
But he
the
might not even
rumblings
get the starting job in PSG. They have
doesn't care.
Yeah.
He just wants the trophy.
Yeah, he wants the trophy. He's not about.
should
he's
have
got
waited. Should have waited an extra week. Should have been like, come back and sit on Juventus' bench. You'll get it, man.
But now going back to Real, right? Rumblings are that they're going to go after Mbappe and Neymar.
They are. They're still
Yep.
one of the richest clubs in the world. They're going to.
Or
Oh, they
Hazard.
just cashed in.
Yeah,
Or-
or Hazard.
and I
the
go
way after
Hazard.
Hazard played in the tournament,
Yeah.
he's
They-
Hazard seems like because him and Chelsea have had on and off again relationship the whole time. I think he's ready for a move. That makes sense to me.
yeah.
And to go there, to go to La Liga, to go to Real Madrid, I mean, that would be great for
But
them.
that thing, Real Madrid's never going to be like, oh yeah, we lost Ronaldo. Fuck. They're going to be like, all right, let's go spend this money, right?
It's never rebuild. It's reload.
It's reload.
Yeah.
Let's
Yeah.
go spend
Always.
it somewhere
Yeah,
else.
it's not,
right?
they don't rebuild.
I can see them getting more than one of them. They have the money to do it.
Of course. Of course. But how good does this make Zidane look to walk away ahead of time?
Oh, he's a genius.
Oh yeah.
There's rumblings that I guess he wanted to build this team the way he wanted to. The
But
president
I
didn't
think
want
he
to.
knew this was going to happen.
And he left,
Yeah.
man. He did the right thing. He
I
left.
think it was two things. He knew this could happen, and he was thinking because remember Didier Deschamps, he was on like watch.
Yeah.
It's France. I
Yeah.
think he thought if France underachieved, he can get that job
Oh,
too.
the French
Right?
national
Yeah.
job.
Yeah.
But
Well, that's not going
that's
anywhere
not,
now.
That's not,
Yeah, now that's done.
So, but that's fine.
But you don't have any choice he
Zidane,
wants.
exactly. He can go to any European club that needs a coach and be like, "Here's my resume.
Yeah.
I'm Zinedine Zidane," and be like, "Yeah, okay, I think we'll
Some
take
teams
this
would
guy."
fire their coach straight up. If
No,
he's
true.
Like, I want to coach your team. They'll fire him.
That's true.
Where do you think he would go? Where's the possibility of him going? What team needs a Zidane?
I think he'll end up in Italy.
Italy.
You know what? Wouldn't it be funny if he goes to Juve? Wouldn't that be funny?
Who's the coach at Juve right now?
Massimiliano Allegri is the coach in Juventus right now.
Straight up.
You know
You
what?
have that season 2 of that Netflix series coming out. I'd fire the shit out of him. I'd be like, listen, Allegri, bro, you gotta go, man. We got Ronaldo here. We gotta bring this down here. It's all about rating cut.
I totally would bring Zidane in, and it would be 96 to 01. He was
on the
playing.
team, yeah.
He was playing in Juve, so it's a homecoming in a sense for Zidane.
Oh, yeah, he's
and he'll
obviously
move
a
in
fan
with
favorite.
his star, right? Just
He
move
just
from
won
one
you
team to another.
the Serie A. Like, they're probably, I'm pretty sure he was been there for the last couple of seasons, right?
Oh, yeah, he
yeah.
was.
So you can't just fire the
He's a
coach.
good. I watched that Netflix series. He's a good coach too, but fuck that shit.
Listen, you know what? You're talking about one of the greatest players of all time. Just built a Champions League dynasty. Nobody builds Champions League dynasties. You know, Champions League dynasty. That could be you, Juve. Just fire your coach and bring Zidane in. You got the money. You got everything. There's nothing to worry about there. Their only challenge in Serie A is Roma. You know?
That's
Yeah,
not even
And,
fucking
and,
challenge.
and even
It's
then,
like kind of a
The
challenge.
Serie A,
even then.
the Serie A, like, tell you the truth, I tried watching it. It's just not as good as EPL.
no, it's not.
Or
There's
La Liga,
no
like-
parity. There's no parity in the league.
I watched that Netflix series. Like I said, even Juventus when they had games, oh fuck, we gotta play this shit.
Yeah, like
Don't they already know?
Serie A is like it's boring, man. It's not
Yeah.
entertaining soccer at
But
all.
that's why that league used to be very.
It used to be,
Yeah,
many,
now
like,
it's
almost-
not. You're right. If it's on TV, I'll be like, fuck that. I'm not watching.
But see, this is part of the reason that Juve needs a guy like Ronaldo to come there, right?
You can get 100 million goals. What?
They need to bring him in.
In that,
He'll score. That's not the
Yeah.
problem. The thing is for him is not the they have the
it's
Serie A.
Champions League.
It's
If he
Champions
brings the
League.
championship,
But the thing is, the other teams, like, they must be like, fuck, like, we can't, like, how are we going to compete with them?
No, but that's like PSG in the French league, or that's like both Barcelona and Madrid.
Yeah, but you have
know?
Atletico.
Yeah, you have Atletico who's
You have a
good
couple
too.
of Valencia's
You
not
know?
bad.
Yeah.
And they have a couple other teams that
Yeah,
they're
Bayern Munich in Germany. I
The
mean,
thing is, you have Borussia there once in a while.
I agree with you. I agree.
But
with
we
you.
know they're going to win, yeah.
There's somebody else
there's
once in
been
a while in
difference.
the other
But
leagues.
But that's why the
Yeah.
EPL is the best league.
Yeah, it is.
most
It's the
competitive,
best
yeah.
league.
It is.
And the football is different. It's very competitive. And the best
It's
players-
entertaining.
Yeah.
And Liverpool's loading up, man. They're coming after man.
So, speaking of Liverpool, they're going after Shaqiri.
be good signing for them, man.
From
What are you-
Stoke City, yeah. Stoke City's relegated.
He
They
already
make
said
money.
he's not playing there, right?
Yeah, because he wants to be in the Premier League.
Exactly.
Yeah, makes sense.
And they'll make a good amount of money for a.
And he had a good
relegation.
World Cup.
Yeah.
He had a good World Cup.
Yeah, he did. He put his value up.
Yeah,
there,
so that he helps out Stoke City in that way.
yeah.
So you think he goes to Liverpool, huh? Is it a done deal or is it close?
It's not a done deal.
No.
It's just interest,
Oh,
mutual
just
interest.
Okay.
Yeah, both of them are interested in going there. I think for a team like Liverpool, they have to start loading up. They want to be they actually want to challenge Manchester City and United as the top teams.
They
in,
have
in
been loading
EPL.
up though. They've been signing a lot of
They
players.
have
there.
been, yeah.
They're the new number 3 team.
I think
whereas
they're number
whereas
2.
Arsenal used to be there, or they used to
Yeah.
it used to be. It's like Chelsea, United, City.
I think they're better than Chelsea, man.
You think Chelsea?
Guys, don't count out Tottenham right now, man.
Tottenham.
Tottenham's
We know
good
what
too,
Tottenham
yeah.
is. They're good enough to be in the top 4.
Yeah.
They just can't win it. And the Champions League.
Tottenham's the new Arsenal, man.
Tottenham is the
Yeah.
new Arsenal. Yeah, I think so. Chelsea's a team that you don't know. Like they're amazing one year, really shitty the next.
Yeah, and
and
so they were
then-
shit last year. So
Yeah.
they're ready to go this year.
They're ready
to
to
go.
go.
I wouldn't count out Chelsea winning the what do you call it?
The
Let's see
EPL?
what happens,
Yeah,
though.
they could
Let's
win the
see-
title.
Let's see what happens with Eden Hazard. Let's see what happens.
Yeah.
There. Yeah.
But I think Chelsea's another team, like,
Exactly.
they'll buy, they'll
just
reload.
buy. They're gonna buy.
They're gonna
regardless,
buy.
Yeah.
They have the money,
Yeah.
so why not do it?
I love how the World Cup isn't even over yet, and we've already moved on to just going back to
It is
different
essentially
league
over
talk.
now. It's
Oh,
not
we
one
know
game.
we got the finals, but the thing is,
Yeah.
I'm telling you, soccer season only a month away. EPL starts
Yeah.
in a month. Yeah, let's get going, man. Like,
Yeah.
people are already reporting to training camp.
They
man.
are, and they're raring to go, man.
Yeah, so they're gonna have some
raring to
European
go.
tours, like these North American tours.
Yeah.
They're gonna
Right,
start,
so-
start up right
Exactly.
away. Right?
Soccer's here,
You
man.
gotta be ready, bro.
And I love gambling on soccer, man.
I want to go back to Real Madrid for a second.
Okay.
Okay, so Gareth Bale.
Oh yeah, we're not talking about Gareth Bale.
Kareem
His
Benzema.
problems were with Zidane,
Yes.
right? Now Ronaldo's not there, Zidane's not there.
It's like his team.
Yeah, does he
Him
get
and
that
Benzema.
opportunity?
It's,
Yeah.
it is. It's
I
their
think
I
time
think
for now.
Benzema's gone.
Benzema, they're going to get rid of, they said. He's one of the guys they're going to sell.
Okay.
But as that midfield, the attacking the center of the team, I think Gareth Bale is going to get his opportunity.
Unless they get
Where
somebody
he was
else.
originally looking to go somewhere else, now it'd be like, I'm cool, I'm straight.
I wanted him to go to Man United because
Yeah.
I'm a United fan.
yeah, yeah.
That hope is done.
I can still see him, though, being interested.
The
Going
thing is,
back to
if
EPL.
you're already at Real Madrid and they're like, hey, we want you to be our new
Exactly.
center mid or
That
center,
guy's not there
center
anymore,
mid,
moving
right?
your way, right?
Attacking center mid.
Yeah.
There's no reason for him to ask for a transfer out of there now. Now's the time for him to take the reins. But it also depends on who they bring in, right? Because they have the money. They're bringing in somebody, right? If they bring in Neymar, sorry, Bale, it's Neymar's team.
Yeah.
If they bring in Mbappe,
Mbappe
well, no.
works with Bale, though. The way they play, they
Mbappe's
work
young.
together. They work
Mbappe's a
together.
protege at
Yeah.
that point, right? Like he'll play.
Mbappe's like, he's coming. He's there.
Oh, yeah.
almost.
He's
No, I
gonna
know.
be a superstar
He's
wherever he
sick.
goes.
He's ready. He's ready to break out.
Yeah, he is.
But what I'm saying is, if you bring him on a Real Madrid and you have a Gareth Bale there, as much as you'll rely on Mbappe to lead the team, right? You like if he doesn't for whatever reason,
still got other veterans
you still
and
got
guys.
other veterans to steer the team and not panic, right?
Yeah.
When things go wrong. That's what I'm saying. It's like right now with France. If Mbappe isn't playing well, or doesn't isn't a showstopper, that's fine. Griezmann will settle things down.
They also got all
You know?
the
Giroud will settle things down, even though he
got
couldn't
Pogba. They got
finish.
they got some
Even though he
depth.
couldn't finish if his life depended on it last game against Belgium, but still, they have some veterans there that can settle things down and get the flow of the game going the right way for them.
And I know the French team are they the youngest team in the World Cup?
They're one of the
One-
I think
The
they're
youngest.
Yeah.
Oh really? They're
I
gonna
knew
be-
they were second or third, but
Thing is,
No,
wow.
they're the youngest.
If they win this World Cup, they could still win another World Cup and a Euro. They could win.
Oh,
they
yeah,
could
yeah,
do the
yeah,
same
yeah.
in
They're,
Spain.
they're
Yeah.
going to be
They're built for
dangerous
years.
for like what seems like forever, man.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
they were just dangerous
Okay.
a little while ago.
So here's some interesting info about France. France has the most players at this World Cup that were born in France. There's 50 players that were born in France that are distributed among other teams, other than the 23 French roster. So there's another 27 players that were playing for, like, Brazil or Portugal or Morocco or God knows where
any
else.
really big name stars?
Yeah. No. I think if you're a big name star and you're French, you're playing for France. But, there's still those middling guys that are good enough to make a Morocco.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But they're just not good enough to make France. So that's also a product of France's academies, right? Like they really, when they started sucking in the 70s, they actually built their system, and they're just producing, player after player after player. And it's been going on for 20 years. I mean, they had an amazing generation in the late 90s that won a Euro and a World
They've
Cup.
always been in the mix.
They lost the World Cup in 06.
Yeah.
They lost in the Euro 2 years ago to Portugal. That's this generation that lost 2 years ago to Portugal.
And they've
in the
added
Euro
from there.
final.
They've added Mbappe.
Exactly.
And they've
Yeah.
added some other guy. Like who else? Did they got? Dembele. So the defense is pretty young.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
the guy
Pavard is
from Real Madrid,
22.
Rafael Varane.
Varane, and he's their central piece. Now, I don't even think he's
So like
24.
I'm saying, they're bringing in these guys, and I remember it because like when I was growing up, when I first understood soccer was probably the '98 World Cup.
Yeah.
And France won it.
Yeah.
And the thing is, they were good 2 years later, and you were like,
They won that Euro
I
after
hated
that.
I
France.
hated France because they were
Because
that
they're just
team.
that good,
They were
man.
that team.
But the thing is, and then they fell off for a bit.
Yeah.
And then now they're coming back.
Not really.
again.
I mean,
not
they-
really falling
But
off.
for like what they remember, they
Did it make it out of, in 2010? I don't think they made it out.
they
of the
didn't make it out of the group stage.
Yeah, they didn't make it out of the group stage.
And they didn't
had
make it out of the
some
group stage in
embarrassing
02.
performances.
The- In 02 was an embarrassing performance. In 2010 was an
Yeah.
embarrassing
Yeah.
performance. 06, I mean, they could have won it if
Yeah.
it wasn't for the infamous headbutt by Zidane.
But
right?
even
Like-
then, it wasn't a surprise to the France, but they were not expected to be that team go to the finals. They
No.
were underdog the whole way.
They were.
right.
They were. But again, they were, I'd say maybe what Croatia is this time. Lots of skill, veteran team. They got a superstar. You know what I mean? And they just performed when it mattered.
Yeah.
That's what Croatia did this time around. Where, veteran team, lots of skill, superstar
And
performed
that's
when
why
it
they're the
mattered.
threat, man.
The team now is a lot of stars on that team.
This
Right?
is
This team
full of
yeah,
stars.
It's
Yeah.
all they're very good.
from the
players.
net
They
out.
left off a bunch of stars.
Exactly. Like,
Like-
everyone's a star on the team that
Yeah.
they play for.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
They're
They're
top guys,
all,
yeah.
some of these guys are superstars.
Yeah.
You know?
But they're all known names.
Exactly.
Every single one of them.
From the goaltender Hugo Lloris,
Yeah.
all the way to Mbappe.
19-year-old Mbappe.
Yeah,
right?
they're all. Mbappe plays for PSG. They've gone for the transfer fees is probably ridiculous, 100 something, 150.
Yeah. And he made an impact there.
So I'm saying like they have a good team.
Yeah.
They do. And they're built for the long haul, being
yeah.
so young to already make it to the World
Even
Cup
Griezmann,
final.
he's one of their you
Yeah.
could say leader guys. He's 26 or whatever.
Yeah. Griezmann's still pretty
And
young
he's still got
himself.
a good couple years left
Oh
in
yeah.
him.
Probably two.
A World Cup after this one. at
Yeah.
least.
Oh yeah.
Oh, at least one World Cup
I think
more,
he has.
yeah.
If he wants to, he could have two even.
Wow.
34. I'm saying he's got 2 years left.
Yeah, 2 Euros and a World Cup for sure.
That's insane, though, if you really think about it. Especially
That's
if
if
they
he,
win.
that also depends on health and risks. And
Of course,
yeah,
health and
right?
injuries or whatever.
We're
But even then,
speculating.
You want
if
everything to go well. Too.
But even if you win it, you know what I mean? Then you don't care for the rest of your life. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
You're
You
satisfied
won.
knowing
Because
You won.
2014, Germany had such a young team. Like they had a lot of young guys. Götze, who else? They have Mueller,
Royce.
Royce. A lot of guys. We thought Euro they're going to be really well as good.
Like,
They did do well in Euro. They just didn't do
They
well.
lost in the final. Was it the final?
No, not in the semis.
Yeah.
And then this year, like we just don't know what happened to them this year.
You know what? It's the curse of the champion. You know that
Some-
that seems to happen
Sometimes
a
shit's just
lot.
fucked up. I wouldn't be
And
surprised.
I think Germany, they will come out the next Euro and they're going to prove themselves.
Exactly.
They have to.
I agree. I think they're going to come out with a completely different mentality. Like, we have to win. We basically have to win.
And then they shouldn't have left off Sane as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was a
That was a
mistake.
huge mistake.
It would have made a difference. It would have made a difference in their attack.
I think
Sure.
what we've noticed in this World Cup that pace, speed, counterattack are like really huge, and I think a lot of teams are still trying to play traditional possession,
European
build
style,
up,
old
yeah,
European style.
And a lot
possession,
of that is
build up,
played-
long ball.
And a lot of that is played in the EPL as well. The pace, the spreading the ball.
That's what the EPL has become.
Yeah.
That's why actually Liverpool had the improvement. They changed the system and they are more of a tack fluid
Yeah.
team, right?
But isn't this maybe one of the reasons why England did as well as they did? Because they're
I think
taking
so.
that English
Yeah.
Yeah,
football.
and they're bringing it onto the international stage.
Yeah.
I think so. Yeah, I think.
And I think they're starting to play that in their youth systems as well.
So yeah,
And so it's kind of, these guys are used to playing that now.
Yeah.
And their endurance, their
endurance. They're used to going fast.
Exactly.
It's totally different.
set pieces are a major thing too.
And that was something
You know?
England was always garbage. in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was impressed with their set pieces this tournament.
9 goals, eh?
They're 9 goals out of 12 on
That's
set pieces.
crazy. I didn't know that.
I'm actually super impressed by the coaching job that Gareth Southgate has.
he's a good
has
coach.
done.
I was
Good
shocked.
coach.
I did not
Super
expect
impressed.
him to be this good.
He proved himself now. I think he proved himself.
Yeah.
He has a little bit of a safety window where he doesn't have to hear the English media.
Yeah, because see, you know what? He had no coaching experience
Yeah.
other than coaching like the under 21s.
And that's risky, right? You
Yeah.
don't know, right? Yeah.
And you know what? This all happened because the last coach, Sam, I think his name was Algier or something.
Yeah.
He got busted for some kind of scandal.
Yeah.
And after 63 days, they had to fire him.
Yeah.
And they didn't
Yeah.
have a coach for the games coming up. So like,
Yeah.
you know what? Garth, just take this team on a interim basis
Yeah.
and see what happens. And then I guess he won a couple of big.
He won a couple of big games.
World Cup qualifying
And that's
games.
the thing, because
He changed the way they wanted to play.
he changed the way they wanted to play, and because he was coaching in the youth
Yeah.
system, he knew a lot of the players.
Yeah.
A lot of the players knew and played under him, and that was a big thing too.
There's familiarity with the coach, familiarity with his style, and he's not afraid to go out of the box. That's like I loved the fact that he went to the U.S. and watched NBA to see how they cover and get away from coverage in basketball,
Yeah.
and to sort of use that for headers instead of like rebounds in the NBA, for example. Like he just used something from a different sport that's applicable in his sport. Like,
It's like
he's not
Boston Galley
afraid.
stuff, right?
Yeah, he's not afraid to think outside the box
He's
in
a-
order to win.
He's a young coach. I think he's one of the youngest coaches at the tournament.
48 years old.
So he's trying to be innovative, try different things, something new. Whereas some of the coaches there are a lot older and
Stubborn.
old school style of coaching, and they're going to stay. No matter what's happening in the game, that's what they're going to do.
They're not
The
gonna
only
jump
change
yet.
they're going to make is they're going to put a bigger forward in and go for the long ball attack.
Yeah. Well, stubbornness. I mean, that was Argentina's coach. Stubbornness that got him in a lot of trouble. That was Martinez out of Belgium. Stubbornness and not switching tactics that ultimately, got him in a lot of trouble. There's been a lot of coaches out there that were really stubborn. I just wanted to mention quickly. Let's talk a little bit about the hosts, because they just did a fantastic job. I think Russia doesn't do a lot of things well when they host. I don't think they did such a great job in Sochi and the Olympics, but I think they did really, really well here. Unlike Brazil, I heard no complaints about stadiums. I heard, not really any complaints about police or fans.
I did see one video of
the one beating up the English guy.
I think we saw every single
Russia clearly doesn't play no shit.
Yeah.
Right?
You can't fuck around in
They're not
Russia.
warning you. They just went straight to whooping your ass.
Yeah,
But
I like that.
It was like the job police.
Aside from that one, like there wasn't really a lot of reports of fans getting harassed or beaten or
But
whatever.
then again, it is Russia, so we don't know what's coming out of there.
That's true.
Right? So we don't know what's really letting out of there. So
I'm sure
let's not
some-
give too much props to the Russians.
I'm sure some,
Everybody's coming home safe, thank God. But you know
I'm
what?
sure some fans beat some guy's ass at some point, right?
Russia only lost so much
Yeah.
media out. Okay.
Yeah.
But I want to give them credit for their run. I mean, they came this close to being the team that would have played England today, right?
Yeah.
And that's for being the worst ranked team going in. Quarterfinals and losing in a shootout is incredible.
I don't think anybody expected Russia
No,
to even get
no
out of
way.
the round, out
They
of the
were
group
just
stage.
lowest ranked team entering the tournament.
Yeah, and the only reason because they're the host team.
Yeah, exactly. Otherwise, they probably wouldn't even qualify.
So does that give Canada hope in 2026?
No. No.
Honestly, I think what we saw with USA is after 1994, they started investing in their soccer program, right?
Oh, when they got the
When
World
they
Cup.
started getting the World Cup. Otherwise, USA was similar to Canada.
Yes.
Right? I think now you're going to start seeing that. I wouldn't be surprised if the next World Cup in between Canada qualifies. I wouldn't.
Qatar?
Yeah,
I
that's
wouldn't,
the next one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised because they're going to start investing in that. You want your team to at least be a competitive team when you get to the
Are they
World Cup.
expanding in the next World Cup to 48 teams?
No, this one is the next one's 32. The one here is 48. But
Okay.
here's the thing. What's going to actually allow Canada to maybe have a hope in hell of at least maybe getting out of the group stage, I'd say, in 8 years, is the fact that other than the 3 MLS teams that we have now, Canadian Premier League starts next year. And there's a big focus on local football academies.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
And that's part of the plan.
Yeah, Edmonton FC, Calgary Cavalry FC is in there. I think Vancouver is going to have a team. I know Toronto has a team.
I think even Halifax.
Halifax, Hamilton, and I think Winnipeg was also supposed to get
And
one.
that's what you need.
Ottawa.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You need a youth professional league
Where they're
or not
constantly playing,
Not
right?
a youth
Yeah.
professional. You need a minor league or something.
Honestly, it's
Developmental
supposed,
league, yeah.
it's supposed to be a developmental league that the point is it wants to be a feeder system to MLS while being at the same time a pro league of its own.
So kind of like the AHL.
Yeah.
It's essentially,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's what you want. And that, I think that should work.
That's how you develop,
Or
right?
what you do is you allow these MLS teams to draft more players,
Yeah.
and then have these teams set up here
Yeah.
and develop them.
Exactly.
Right.
Let
So they
them-
get exposure, right?
Yeah.
If you're an MLS
Let
team
them be
and
forward.
there's
Like
Canadians
in Europe,
there.
they have like Barca B or
Yeah.
Right.
or
Farm
their
system.
or
Farm
their
academies.
under team, like,
The youth academies.
Their under 21 team or
Yeah,
something,
yeah.
right?
That's how you develop the players.
Exactly.
Right?
And if they can start doing that here, like, the Whitecaps have a team here.
A feeder system,
Yeah,
like
exactly.
a team to build, right?
So,
Yeah.
but this is why I find it strange because for decades, right, soccer was through the NCAA system in the States.
Yeah.
And what I find so strange about it is in the US, the NCAA system produces the best athletes, bar none, in the fucking world in almost every single sport that they play.
Yeah.
But for soccer, they were shit. And they were shit for a long time. And like, how come this system can produce the best basketball players, the best football players, the best volleyball players, the best track athletes?
Because the good soccer players are not going to college; they're getting paid. They're either going to MLS or some of them are going overseas.
And another thing I heard a while back, there was I was listening to a radio show, and one of the coaches from the States said that their soccer season is from like September to like I think it's like November or something.
Yeah.
And they cram in all the games. Like you're playing like 2 to 3 games a week.
Yeah.
And the thing is, if you're playing in like these these minor league pro teams, they're playing once a week.
Right.
There's more risk of injury.
Yeah.
If you're playing so many games in such a short time,
Yeah.
guys aren't having enough time to recover, and that's causing injuries, serious
Plus,
injuries.
to be eligible for the draft in those sports, you have to play college. So all those players that have the ability to play in pros, in football and basketball, they have to play college.
Yeah.
Soccer, you don't.
Not necessarily. The NBA allows you in.
No, you have to play 1 year.
You have to be a certain age.
We'll talk about
We'll
that
talk
because
about that
that's
later.
changing.
Yeah.
We'll talk about that
because they had it
later.
back in the day. And now
Yeah.
they come,
Yeah.
But most players either they play a year in Europe or they
Yeah.
play 1 year. They call it the one and done.
Yeah.
Like Carmelo Anthony played
Yeah,
1
that-
year and then he
that's-
bounced, right?
That's going to change. But what I mean is, I'm not necessarily expecting NCAA to produce a Ronaldo. Okay, I'm expecting the NCAA to produce like a Jovinko, or to produce like someone that's good enough to make it to MLS and good enough to make a Canadian national team or an American national
But that's
team.
the thing, man. Is
And
look at like Alfonso Davies. What's his name?
Alfonso Davies.
Yeah, he's already in MLS. He
Yeah.
doesn't have to go to college. They don't
I
have
understand.
that rule, right?
I understand.
So why those good players?
But
that-
then but you're talking about the one-off. I'm not talking about what the
No, but
one-off.
that's a
I'm talking
quality.
about no. But see,
yeah.
national clubs don't get good because they produce a star. National clubs get good because they produce a lot of good players.
But as
you
what I'm
know,
saying is the players that are good, because they don't have to go through the college system, they go through another system.
I understand. I
So it's true,
understand.
they should produce some.
I understand, but it's like
yeah.
this. It's like this. There's always your players in the NHL, for example, that
Yeah.
end up going through the college system, make it to the NHL later,
Yeah.
and they're a developed player and they're pretty good.
Yeah.
They're not going to score 50 goals, you know what I mean? But they're going to have a good 10, 15 year career in the league or something like that. I'm talking about where are those guys?
I don't know. I don't know enough about soccer, or the youth level of soccer, or how it's done in the States. I just don't think there's enough funding in the NCAA.
Funding, and I don't think
Funding is not a problem in
I
the
don't think people-
NCAA.
No, because I think because you only
Those
get
colleges are so
I
fucking
agree,
rich,
but they get
man.
certain amount of scholarships for each sport, and most of the scholarships go to like the big sports.
Yeah.
They-
The moneymakers.
The moneymakers.
It
So-
still gets
so-
the least attention out of all those sports.
Yeah.
right?
The thing is, if you're handing out a scholarship for a guy who's going to be a wide receiver on your football team or a striker on your soccer team, you're giving it to the receiver.
No, but that's true. But they still manage to get scholarships for swimmers and for track athletes that do not the 100 meters, but like the guy that does long jump or pole vault.
I agree, but I think there's only a certain amount of scholarships that each school gives out to certain sports.
Right.
So, and the thing is, I don't know enough about how.
Well, it must be. It's got to be that there's that other, like
there's
got to
be something like
there's that
not going to
other
college.
sort of path. There's that other path when it
and
comes
he's
to
also
soccer.
right where he's saying that like if you're young enough and you're good enough, why go through college? When you're
you
at
can make
16,
money,
you can
yeah.
make money.
Yeah.
Like Alfonso Davies playing in the MLS.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
And I
it's-
remember they used to
the
have,
reason is because most players aren't that good.
There was that,
most
Beasley
players
had
have to go
mistakes.
through some other system.
Beasley at
There was
15
that
was
new guy who was
Freddie Adu.
remember
Yeah.
him?
He was
Who's supposed to
14.
be the American superstar.
He was 14.
Yeah.
He was a bust.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Landon Dolman, did he not? I think he's the only guy that
He went to
college.
college. He did. Yeah.
Well, I
There hasn't
mean,
been many,
let's
yeah.
see what happens. Maybe the leagues.
He started
itself,
in college, and once he got paid, he left.
maybe the academies are going to replace it, and maybe that's what builds it up.
I think that's the best way to do
But
it.
that's the thing, because these kids they're not going to get paid a lot, but they're going to get paid to play soccer.
Right.
Right? Just makes it more incentive.
And that's how they do it in Europe.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, that's what we're going to end up doing here because CIAU ain't shit, right?
no.
We all know
Oh,
that. CIAU ain't shit. You're not getting anything out of that.
No,
You're getting a free education.
Yeah, which is great.
Yeah.
It's a free education. Yeah, absolutely.
Actually, that's a good thing.
No, listen, it's a good thing for anybody that
Anybody that gets a
goes into
scholarship,
any
obviously
scholarship.
great.
It's
Yeah.
great.
They're an
you know?
athlete.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is, if you want to produce, if that system isn't producing what you need it to produce,
gotta do something.
and you're not going to fund it properly, or you're not going to put in the time and effort or whatever, like the FAF group that runs that owns and runs FC Edmonton, they've lost millions of dollars on that team. And now that they're moving into from NASL, they're moving into Canadian Premier League. They don't expect to start making money. They actually expect to just lose less. But they're going to have their soccer
They were about to
academies.
fold before this league came up.
Yeah, they were.
Yeah.
Well, it didn't make sense to have them anyway.
Yeah.
They were the only team in Canada, and most teams were in the South in the States and Puerto Rico.
Yeah.
It didn't make
the
no
dynamics
sense
of the league
whatsoever.
doesn't make sense to me.
No, none whatsoever. I think they had a team they had some California teams. Like it was like everyone is in the Sun Belt in the States, and then just Edmonton, way the hell up
They
there.
had a team in Sacramento.
Oh yeah, they did.
Yeah, I know because
Still California.
Yeah, well, I go to Sacramento quite often. That's why I know, right?
So, but that's what I'm saying. Like it
We
just.
move on to season ticket holders.
But I do want to give them props for bringing the team into CPL and the fact that I'm excited about that league
The
going
whole
into
league,
the next year.
props for making the league.
Yeah, it's good. It's good for the Canadian soccer.
Yeah.
It should
That's
help
what I
the
mean.
development.
And if they get the right type of coverage, which I think it is going to, right? I think it's picked up on TSN stuff like that.
It should be. I'm not sure who's picking
People
it up.
actually
exactly.
see these Canadian players. They'll actually know who
Well,
they
because
are.
they want to make it like the CFL, right?
Yeah.
Where
If they
it's
can
going to
make
have
it-
its local fan base.
Yeah, if they can make it, if they can be successful as a CFL,
They can
that's
do
a
it.
win.
Yeah.
It is a
That's
huge
a-
win.
Yeah,
That's
that's
a win for the
huge,
league.
man.
It's a huge
Massive.
win for soccer in
Yeah.
Canada, because especially since we have those three big clubs in MLS, right? Like
Yeah.
to have that secondary league as well be behind the major one. I mean, I think that'll be great for football in Canada.
They started giving Canadian soccer a base.
And then maybe
Yeah.
eventually in 10 to 15 years, a team maybe in Edmonton.
Yeah.
Maybe a team in Calgary.
In
Maybe.
More MLS
exactly.
And maybe
Yeah.
these teams can get knocked up.
Exactly.
Like
and,
the
yeah.
NHL, there's
Yeah.
7-8 teams, right? Maybe that's what happens in the future.
Hopefully. But
Yeah.
then that's thinking in the future.
Yeah, I mean that's also wishful thinking.
Yeah.
But even if it doesn't happen, so what?
But the World Cup's a huge step because you know they don't want to come in and be the team that gets their ass whooped at home.
So speaking of getting their ass whooped at home, there's speculation that the Team Canada games are going to be here because we only get I think we get 3 games per stadium,
city, yeah.
right? 3 games per city.
You mean the
And-
group stage games?
Yeah, group
Yeah.
stage games.
Yeah.
But the idea is, so I think you get one group because there's 3 games in that group stage.
Yeah.
But they're saying that maybe Canada ends up playing both their games here in Edmonton because it's the biggest stadium.
Biggest stadium and their stars going to be from Edmonton.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. As opposed to Toronto where you've got a lot from everywhere.
Yeah.
So you're going to fill the stadium regardless
But that stadium's
of
not big.
who's
It's
playing.
playing. It's where the
What Toronto FC plays.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's-
We
BMO
have
Field.
60,000 seat stadium.
They're
right?
40,000, I think, in BMO
Oh, is
Field.
it 40? Is it
I
that
think,
big?
I think they
I thought it was smaller. Too.
It
I thought
was,
it was
but
small. I thought it was like-
they expanded it when the Argos moved in. They made it 35.
For what reason? Nobody shows up to Argo.
Yeah,
games
but
anyways.
to have more empty seats.
Why the fuck would you make it bigger for the Argo?
To let the camera see more empty.
I'm telling you the truth, man. Like nobody goes shows up to Argo.
No,
games.
but people go to
Who the
FC
hell did
games.
That's
Toronto
what I'm
think?
saying.
Who the hell
People
did
go to
Toronto
Toronto.
think they are?
We're
Right?
talking about CFL on the show, bro.
I think that's the first thing
You
about
guys
it.
asked when they expanded it. I'm telling you that's when they expanded it,
Listen, when we
okay?
start talking CFL on this show, I'm leaving.
It gives more people seats to go down to when they buy nosebleed seats.
Fuck, CFL's a joke.
Yeah.
So,
Hurry up and bring Johnny Manziel in. We're not talking.
That's the only time we're going to talk about the CFL ever. If Johnny Manziel gets a snap,
You have always decided to sign a contract with Eskimo, then you guys can be talking about it.
yeah, apparently half the teams in the NFL have contacted Johnny Manziel's agent, but that's another sport and another topic.
Why?
I haven't seen him do nothing.
Why?
Only thing I've seen him pass is fucking the water bottle.
They feel bad for him? You can pass our water bottles, bro.
They need a water boy, maybe. I don't know.
Johnny Manziel, hold on. So let's get back to soccer.
Yeah.
I think we're soccered out at this
All
point,
right.
guys. Thanks very much for joining us on this segment, Jessa. And as always, thank you as well to you, Biggie. Catch us at report_weekly. Tell us what you liked. Tell us what you didn't. We're always listening. Thanks for tuning in. And we'll catch you guys soon.